What's going on YouTube? Welcome to another video. Doing some SSB squats here. I believe, yep, we are doing the SSB. So a little bit more far forward than our high bar ones. Still in the front though, but it is what it is. And just kind of working up here, almost missed the hook there, which I don't know how that happens, but it happens more often than you think. And working up, still trying to figure out how I want to go about doing these squats. There is a point where it gets a little uncomfortable, so you really just have to figure out what works for you. And honestly, for me, I feel that I just got to keep doing them, and then eventually things will click. I'll change things here and there and just kind of go from there. So it is what it is, and I'll use the belt as I need it. Again, the purpose of this movement is for growth and strength, and then we've got the extra hypertrophy after the fact. So we're trying to be strong in all aspects, and then do the body weight, or not the body weight stuff, but the isolation stuff to add on to that structure. So it's good to be strong, it's good to have good form on movements, and it's good to be well-rounded, and that's the whole game plan here. So squats are tiring. I don't blame people for not wanting to do them, and they're hard to learn if you're by yourself. It's very hard to reinforce your own form. It's very hard to be able to criticize it correctly, because when you're in an actual squat, everything, it's like time stands still and the intensity is so much more. Like, they may look great in the video, but when you actually squat, you know, it probably felt like hell on earth, and you're like, man, did I hit depth? Those squats kind of suck. And then you'll look back at these movements here and be like, okay, that moved pretty well. So in the moment, that's why you got to be consistent. You got to know what your squat looks like. You have to look for the signs when you do it, and then usually you'll be fine. So experience trumps all. Get the experience to know what to look for, what things should look like, how things feel, and you'll honestly be in a good spot. You know, if you need the reinforcement through like a friend or training partner, then do it. But ultimately, your body is your own responsibility, so you are responsible for deciding what it does. So again, like I mentioned in a previous video, know when to cut back, know when to achieve things greater. It just depends on, you know, what your goals are for that time, but push forward and keep training. So moving on to deadlifts here. And just squatting and deadlifting twice a week is great for me. I want to keep both in my repertoire, and there is some recovery issues I'm having right now, so I may adjust the amount of sets I do, or like the amount of intensity. But I do prefer my deadlifts to be lower reps, just to get them done, to be more efficient. I don't think I've ever seen that much growth when it came to do the bodybuilding style. It was for the strength and the size to build, to carry over to the hypertrophy, to grow from there. And finding movements that are kind of in that same plane of work. So like a Pendlay row, where you're not doing a deadlift, but you're pulling kind of in the same type of way. You're pulling from the floor, full resets, and then you could break it down into, a bunch of other machines that can hit certain things. It just depends on, what your goals are and exactly what you want to do. I'm not one to, knock any sort of movement, but as long as there's logic to what you're doing and some sort of intelligent design to it, then you're fine. Get the reps in, do the work, adjust, use what works, drop what doesn't. Usually I say another word, it starts with an F, but it is what it is. You just have to decide what you want to do. So moving on here, we are doing our bench again. So again, this is our Monday wide grip bench, and things are moving pretty well here, you can tell. So I know on this day I probably got some weight I could throw up there. So you're going to notice the more consistent these weights move, the more aligned you are with where you're at in your control over the movement. So essentially, I'm going to use what I can to figure out how well things are moving. So this has got nice pop to it, nice consistent movement, no drop off. So I will continue doing, this type of gauge, and then how I feel based off of that to determine where I'll end up. So we're starting to build up here, 295, and with the way that 295 moved, I knew it was going to be a good day. So what do we do when we have that moving like that? We throw on 315. So 315, hit that for a single, And I knew the way that first rep moved definitely did not have a second one. So going back in, okay, well maybe we'll hit this for heavy singles. Let's see how this one moves. So not as well as the first one, but we got it. So drop back down 295 and pick up the reps I was supposed to get. And that's kind of my game plan for that. Always being prepared to shift if I need to, if things don't work out the way I want to. Put that back and then move on. So that's training in a nutshell. It's essentially figuring out where I need to be, using what works, and then kind of going from there. So decent amount of time, decent amount of experience in order to kind of gauge that. And that's how you know, you got to make sure your form is dialed in and in line to make sure it's an accurate representation. If you keep changing your form and things don't move the way they do, it's hard to get a frame of reference of where they should be. So after years of just kind of watching my own stuff, you kind of pick all this up and figure it out on your own. So solid form here on the incline bench too, though. Nice and controlled reps. And again, I think in the moment when I was doing all this, you feel the tension, the pressure, everything feels so much harder, but it is what it is. Dumbbell OHP here, same thing. See how everything moves, kind of go from there. And again, just rep work on what we're building the foundation. We're making sure that we're able to do the things we need to do and just kind of gauging that without pushing too hard. OHP, I think I cut back on this one because I was getting some discomfort in the elbow. So we just did some rep works here just to make sure we're maintaining that range of motion. The body's acclimated to that weight, kind of going from there. So a couple different angles. I think I decided not to go up after I did these, and I wanted to just focus more on reps, which sometimes during a movement, it's just the act of doing the movement that will put you in a good position rather than throwing a certain amount of weight on there. And again, that comes from experience to try to figure out what works for you. But that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.
Thanks for watching the latest video. If you want to help support the channel, I actually own my own wet shaving and grooming e-commerce website where everything's handmade by me. It's www.apexsoaps.com, and you can get a 10% off code using wet shaver. We've got some cool scents here. We've got some Coca-Cola scents, a horchata scent, traditional barbershop, just some really cool stuff. And you can purchase samples or you can buy the whole set. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email. Be quick to respond. Thanks for watching.